Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's update on the Alberta wildfires. We will begin with an update from Mike Ellis, Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Services, followed by Bre Hutchinson from the Alberta Emergency Management Agency, and Melissa Story from Alberta Wildfire, and then take some media questions. Minister, go ahead.
Thanks very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by once again thanking everyone who is working around the clock right now to protect our communities. And I want those who have been impacted by the fires and forced to evacuate the communities that you call home to know that Alberta is here for you. While the dangers from wildfires in the province persist, there is some positive news on the weather front. Some isolated thunder showers in central to northwest the Boreal have helped cool down some fires in the region. And while areas like High Level have not seen the precipitation that we're hoping for, leading to more fire activity than other places, the general picture going forward this week is looking good, with some more showers that are to be expected. This is much needed and positive news for evacuees from areas like Edson and Fort Chipewyan who remain out of their homes. Now for some information for Edson evacuees. Folks from this area who have registered with the province now qualify for the emergency evacuation payments. The Alberta Supports Centre in Hinton has extended hours to support evacuees from Edson and Yellowhead County. Any Albertan who has been evacuated under the mandatory evacuation order from their primary residence for 7 days or more can apply for a one-time emergency evacuation payment to help during the duration, of course, during this very difficult time. Even residents who have returned home after being evacuated for a short period and then re-evacuated again are still eligible if they've been out of their homes for 7 days total. Applications are open for 30 days after the last mandatory evacuation order ends, but eligible evacuees are encouraged to apply as soon as they are able. We've seen a lot of uptake on the emergency evacuation payments since the announcement of the one-time emergency financial assistance for evacuees. More than 19,500 applications have been processed. More than $24.5 million in e-transfers have been sent to evacuees, and more than $9.5 million in debit cards have been distributed. You can visit www.alberta.ca/emergency or call 310-4455 for information on supports, including evacuation payments. At the start of these wildfires, we made a commitment to the impacted communities that the support would be there during these difficult times. We're proud of that continued support for Alberta and, of course, Alberta families. On the subject of evacuations, since the 2023 wildfire season began, approximately 35,000 Albertans have been evacuated from their homes or communities. As of this morning, 14,046 evacuees are still out of their homes. As communities work towards re-entry, we continue to ask residents to please be patient and that they do not return until contacted by their local authority. Staggered re-entries help reduce traffic on the highways and allow for a safe return. We also ask that those who need to travel, whether because of evacuations or for other reasons, should check 511 for information on road conditions and closures. And we recognize that wildfires are very taxing on the mental health of everyone involved. If you are struggling with your mental health, please know that there are supports available to you. A number of different helplines and services are ready and waiting to assist you, and you only need to reach out. So please call or text the word info to 211 or visit albertahealthservices.ca to be connected to the digital or local support services near you. We're putting the resources and funding needed into ensuring that every Albertan affected by this emergency has the supports that they need. Now, before I do wrap up, I just want to take a moment to remind all Albertans, those already directly impacted by the fires and those who remained concerned observers, that we are still very early in the wildfire season. It seems hard to imagine, but we're only 2.5 months into a 7-month period, stretching out until the end of October. This could be a long and challenging summer, so let's please, let's all commit to staying focused on the priorities of fighting these wildfires and protecting human lives. Let's all do our part to support these efforts, and that includes being mindful of the fire risks and exercising extreme caution around any activities that might start new fires or make the current situation even worse. So long as the situation remains volatile, we must remain vigilant. Visit alberta.ca/beprepared for information on how to prepare for evacuation. Thank you for this continuing effort to prevent the wildfire situation from getting any worse. We will get through this together, and we are here, of course, to support you. I'll now invite Bre Hutchinson from the Alberta Emergency Management Agency to provide an update. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Though the emergency situation has started to improve in some areas of the province, the wildfires are still having a significant impact in many communities. The Provincial Emergency Coordination Centre is at Level 3 with 8 states of local emergency and 5 band council resolutions. The total number of evacuation orders currently stands at 6, with 3 reception centres open for affected areas. I'm sure many of you have questions about the most recent evacuation orders in Yellowhead County, including the town of Edson. We understand how incredibly stressful this situation is for folks in these communities that have been evacuated more than once. We're also very grateful to the communities of Edmonton and Hinton that have once again offered support to evacuees during these exceptional events. I want to once again remind all residents who are evacuating to register at the nearest reception center or online, even if help is not immediately needed. Registering not only makes it easier to get help and resources to evacuees, it also makes it easier for officials to reach residents with important updates and information. For those in a community on evacuation alert, take the time to get prepared in case you must leave. The situation can change quickly, and an evacuation order could come at any time, with little or no warning. Being prepared to leave at a moment's notice is vital. Pack an emergency kit that will last for a week or more, with essential items like medications, identification, a first aid kit, flashlights, batteries, non-perishable food, cash, and clothing. These supplies should be kept in an accessible location and be ready to go. We also urge people to have a plan in place to stay in touch with loved ones, as well as a plan for their pets. Alberta SPCA peace officers can assist with pets and can be reached at 1-800-455-9003. Evacuated farmers and ranchers should call the Wildfire Resource Line at 310-4455 with questions regarding livestock. To protect yourself and others, stay informed, and please make sure the information is from trusted and verified sources. Download the Alberta Emergency Alert app and pay attention to emergency alerts. Listen to local news updates and follow your local authority's social media accounts and other notification methods. As the Minister pointed out, the fire season is really just beginning, and there's a lot of potential for fires ahead of us. As we move into the summer, this is the time to continue to be cautious and aware of the fire situation around the province. Albertans can help by staying informed, following fire bans, listening to local officials, and having an emergency plan in place. Thank you, and I'll now turn things over to Melissa from Alberta Wildfire for more information on the provincial wildfire situation.
Thank you, Bre. There are 76 wildfires in the forest protection area. 24 of those are out of control. So far this year, we've responded to 632 wildfires, burning more than 1,385,000 hectares. We saw active fire behavior on a number of wildfires across the province over the weekend. The Pembina complex, which is burning closest to the town of Edson, grew approximately 70,000 hectares from Friday to Saturday. Thankfully, it hasn't grown any closer to town. It is now estimated at 204,284 hectares in size. It remains 2 kilometers south of Edson. Firefighters had better access and assessment of this wildfire yesterday. They are working on containment lines along Highway 16 and 47. There are over 200 wildland firefighters from Australia, South Africa, and across Canada working on this wildfire. The Fort Chipewyan fire, known as the Rocky River Wildfire, is still burning out of control. It is approximately 52,542 hectares. This wildfire also showed growth on the north side of the fire over the weekend, but remains 7 kilometers from Fort Chipewyan and 4.5 kilometers from Allison Bay. Most of the forest protection area has seen elevated wildfire behavior over the last few days. Anytime we see extended periods of hot, dry conditions, the wildfire danger will grow along with the wildfire behavior. However, we are expecting to see some reprieve this week. Tomorrow, a low-pressure system will bring widespread rain into the province that should extend into Wednesday. Temperatures are expected to decrease and humidity will increase, which will help firefighters responding to these wildfires. Alberta will also welcome 100 firefighters from Costa Rica and Chile tomorrow. This is the first time these firefighters will come to Canada and assist with wildfires here. On Thursday, we are also expecting to have 200 additional firefighters arrive from South Africa. The elevated fire activity serves as a reminder that we are still in wildfire season and there are many months ahead of us. A fire ban and off-highway vehicle restriction remain in effect for the northern parts of the province, and a fire restriction is still in place for the remainder of the forest protection area. I want to take the time to thank Albertans for helping to prevent wildfires by listening and complying with the current fire bans and restrictions in place. The latest wildfire information can be found on our interactive map or on the Wildfire Status app.
Thank you. And we will now move to the media Q&A. We're going to start with reporters here in the room. Just a reminder for those on the line to press *1 to join the queue. If you can please state your name and outlet, and then we'll do one question and one follow-up. Yeah, we'll start here in the room.
David Owasik with CTV News, Edmonton, for Minister Ellis. There was a bad crash on the southeast edge of Edmonton this weekend. 3 people died. Tesla, at what we're told, traveling at excessive speed. The chief was asked, the police chief here in Edmonton was asked, what could be done to alleviate crashes like this. He said that there needs to be the ability to seize vehicles at speeds of 50 kilometers or over the posted speed limit. Your thoughts on that, whether it could be a possibility here, and if not, why not?
Yeah, the chief has actually raised that issue with us during the last legislature. What I committed to the chief is that we would certainly look into that as a possible option. I can tell you, as somebody that has been personally to horrific car accidents where speed has been a factor, where other elements have been a factor, they have absolutely devastating effects on the lives of not only the people directly involved, but certainly the people indirectly involved. So, one thing I did commit to the chief, and I believe I made a commitment to the Alberta Association of Chiefs of Police, is to take a look at that and see what options are available from a legislative perspective. So, thank you for raising that.
Did you have a follow-up, David?
No.
Okay. Operator, can you put through our first caller?
Thank you. The first caller is Nicole Weisberg, CTV.
Hi there. I just wanted to ask whether there's any consideration being given to changing the payment program to possibly give more money to evacuees, or, now that we're seeing people being evacuated again, possibly changing the program to, I guess, reflect how long people are actually out of their homes as opposed to just the one-time 7-day minimum. Who knows how long these evacuations could last through the summer.
I'll start. Obviously, we're constantly assessing and then reassessing the situation. So, anything is entirely possible. I would just say that, when this is, when the season is all said and done, and I know it's, again, the situation is still volatile. We still have a lot of fires that are out there right now. But I will just say this government is committed to doing whatever it takes to help the people of Alberta. And if it means some form of reassessment on a payment, then certainly we'll take a look at that. So that's kind of where we are with that right now.
And do you have a follow-up, Nicole?
No, that's everything.
Operator, can you put through our second caller?
Thank you, Catherine Grakowski, Alberta Today.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. The first question would be for the minister. So the Premier has said she's requested some more wildfire investigators to try and tackle the cause of the unknown cause of fires, and I'm wondering what the status of that request is and how many investigators you're requesting.
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers, but ever since the start of the wildfire season, I can tell you that Wildfire has been working very closely with the RCMP. I can tell you that during the start of the wildfire season, I did check in with the Deputy Commissioner Zablocki to ensure that he had the necessary resources to regarding investigations that were going on or ongoing. So yeah, I mean, all these fires are being investigated, and they have to be. So as far as additional resources, you know, if the Premier, of course, has made a request, then we're making sure that the RCMP and Wildfire have all the necessary resources to conduct those investigations. But they're very challenging, I can tell you. Somebody's been a part of them.
Do you have a follow-up, Catherine?
Yeah, and I'm not sure who would be best to answer this, but I know there's about 372 that are confirmed human cause, and I'm wondering, do you have a breakdown of those numbers for how many are campfires, how many are agricultural activity, and how many are arson? Because I know there's just been a bit of muddled information out there, some historical arsons from 2021 and 2022 are being brought up again. Just wondering if there's a further breakdown of the human cost.
So I don't have the numbers in front of me, and maybe Bre does, but certainly just going on memory on one of the reports that I did read, yes, there was arsons that were certainly in the investigative process. There are also the human caused fires. Some, of course, obviously accidental, and those are currently under investigation. And of course, you also have lightning strikes. So I think Alberta Emergency Management, or my apologies, I think Wildfire does have some data in regards to that. Bre, I don't know if you're able to supplement, or maybe Melissa can.
Definitely. I don't have the breakdown of the exact number of human-caused fires, but I can tell you that 360 of them so far have been human-caused this year. Human cause doesn't necessarily mean arson. It could mean anything from an abandoned campfire to an industry-related fire to an inadvertent OHV fire. We're also seeing an emerging trend with fireworks and exploding targets. So it can mean a plethora of things. If it's not caused by lightning, we do make the assumption that it would be human-caused. So far this year, we've had 125 lightning-caused wildfires, so that should give a good indication as to what's out on the landscape.
Perfect. And operator, can you put through our next caller?
Thank you. Emmanuel Prince, Radio Canada.
Hi, my question is for Melissa Story from Alberta Wildfire. So on the Alberta Wildfire state-to-state dashboard, it says that right now we're at 1.4 million hectares burned in Alberta. Is that a record number in Alberta?
At this time, yes, it is. Our previous record was set in 1981. It was 1,357,000 hectares burned. That said, these numbers can change when we do reassessments of area burned. When we can go back and assess a fire that is under control, there is often vegetation that isn't burned over, so those numbers will fluctuate. But at this time, yes, 1.4 million is our record.
And do you have a follow-up?
My other question, yep, for Minister Ellis. We're hearing that the Edson area wildfires, so the Pembina complex, will soon be managed by an Australian team, and I'm sure you'll be thankful for them for their help, but does that mean that Alberta doesn't have enough resources to manage their own wildfire? Like, if you need help from international, does that mean that we're not capable of managing things in our own backyard?
Well, I think this question probably I'll ask Melissa to supplement, but let me just say this. I mean, the complexity of this year's wildfire season is the fact that there were so many critical incidents all throughout the province. So it wasn't located to just one region of the province. We had so many crisis points that it required a multitude of different incident command teams. So again, incident command is something for which somebody needs to be trained in. And again, we were faced with a very unprecedented situation, but maybe I'll ask Melissa if she can supplement that.
Absolutely. We utilize resources from across Canada and internationally. We do have resource sharing agreements that are in place. These folks are trained to the same level of professionalism that we are here in Alberta. When we get the opportunity to have folks come from other agencies and respond to wildfires here, we're very grateful for the opportunity, and we're grateful that we have the support on the ground, whether they be Australian, from BC, from New Zealand, from across Canada. We will take all the help that we can get at this point, and we are so grateful for it.
And operator, can you put through our next caller?
Thank you. There are no additional questions in the queue at this time.
All right, thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Please note that a media situation report will be distributed later this afternoon.